Hey guys, I'm Daisho, and I'm here for another game of Enduranked, and today, hopefully, we'll get some more wins. I'm playing Mind's Maze still. I think a lot of people were in the 5-6 range in terms of how many I'll get. I'm hopeful, but not really expecting to do that well, just because it's so hard to win multiple games in a row. You never know when you're just going to get land screwed. So this hand's okay. I'm gonna keep it. I'm on the play. It would be really nice to draw a Lord, and it would also be really nice if my opponent didn't have any 1-drops. But I guess I probably could have just kept this in hand since I don't really want it to be attacking on turn 2. So he's going to drop up planes, but he's got nothing else. And there's another Veiled Sentry. I'll keep that one waiting in the wings for now. I'll just play a Gossamer Phantasm, and this game's really laggy. I hope it doesn't end up messing me up. I don't have anything like Terramorphic Expanse, but I do have some instants in this deck, so you never know when it could come back to hurt me. So he's going to play another Plains and pass, and that kind of makes me want to just drop this other Veiled Sentry right now. And I think I'm going to keep the image in hand just because it's a little bit risky playing it out right now. And if he does play like a 3-drop, then I might want to clone that instead of one of these Veiled Sentries. And and also in case I draw a Lord next turn, then I can play Lord and then image Lord, and that would be a sweet turn. But if he plays like a 3-drop, then he's going to be in bad shape because he's going to have 2 3/3s breathing down his neck in addition to this 2/1. So he's kind of in a position where he's kind of damned if he does, damned if he don't. Damned if he doesn't. What would be the worst is if he has some sort of sweeper. I don't know what kind of sweepers any of the white decks run. I think one of them has like Hallow. Is that like Hallowed Burial maybe? Like 5-mana spell. Alright, so we're getting to 4-drops now, and again these Veiled Sentries seem to be preventing him from doing anything. Unfortunately, I'm just ripping lands, which is really terrible. Yeah, I've literally drawn lands this game. No, I drew a Veiled Sentry first turn. So he's just gonna let the damage through. Maybe he's got like a Restoration Angel? No, I still don't even know what deck he's playing. It could be either of the mono white decks. And if he plays a 5-drop here, he's nearly dead. So I guess he's waiting till he could play a couple of things in one turn. Well, I finally drew my Lord. The question is, do I want to play around some sort of mass removal? I don't really think I need to, because there's not much mass removal in the format. So, yeah. I can hit him for a lot of damage. And now whatever spell... Okay, so now he's got something. Path to Exile. Okay. That's really good for him. He does get rid of one of my Lords, but again, I mean, it could have been worse for me because I have a Lord out now, so these things are both 2/2. So he really messed up. He should have just pathed my Lord in response to me playing this image. I would have still been able to copy the Gossamer Phantasm, but it would have been much worse for me. So now my opponent is going to start playing stuff out. There's a Grand Abolisher as well as an Oblivion Ring. He has no targets on my side of the field, so I think he made a mistake with that one. Does it have to do it? Yeah. Alright, so not really sure why he cast that. Does it say, yeah, it says exile another too. Yeah, he just really screwed up with that one. I don't know. My opponent definitely misplayed. Yeah. Misplayed this entire game, I think. Letting me get the free damage in early for no real reason. Like, if he had Path to Exile, he could have just used that on this thing, turn 2 to kill my guy. I'm gonna go down to 1, and I may as well play around something here by keeping this thing in hand, since there's basically no... I mean, I guess... Oh yeah, see? There you go. There is a mass removal spell. So, yeah, I was hoping that wouldn't happen, but at least I did keep this thing in hand. And I don't really think that I overextended too much. I think I played like I was supposed to. He could very well have a removal spell, or looks like he doesn't, because he just quit out. Yeah, I don't know what kind of hand my opponent capped or what, but it just did not work out for him this game. And looks like that's going to be win number 3 with Mind Maze. And we can definitely do another gameplay in this video. Wasn't too much of an exciting game since my opponent didn't do anything until, like, he pathed one of my dudes and then killed one of his own dudes. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered much if he had kept the Abolisher around. I think if he had just played Hallowed Burial and then played the Abolisher, then he would have been fine, because then he would have been able to O-ring my my Gossamer Phantasm for the next turn, and I would have had to top deck an answer. And I did draw the Image and the other thing. Wait, he would have been able to if he didn't just draw the Hallowed Burial, then he would have been able to Hallowed Burial kill most of my creatures. That would have been really good for him. Alright, so I've got a bear on turn 1 but 5 lands, so I'm going to have to toss this one back. This one's not great either, but I do have some good things going for me. Hopefully my opponent's playing Illusion since I've got Frost Breath. Then again, if he does have Lord of the Unreal, Frost Breath becomes significantly worse. Alright, we got enough removal here. But I do have Krovikan Mist Phantasmal Image combo, which is pretty nice. And Claustrophobia is pretty interesting against the Zombies deck, if that is what he's playing, because in one sense, you can stop them from, yeah, like his Butcher Ghoul won't undie, but then again, you could just lose all value out of it because they could... That was an annoying draw. I didn't want to draw any more land. Because they could sacrifice it to a Fleshbag Marauder or something like that, and then your Claustrophobia goes away. So it could either be the best removal or the worst removal. So hopefully, I really just want to draw Illusions. My first 2 draws were not beneficial to me at all. But I mean, now I've got 4 lands, so I can literally cast any spell in the deck. So I just want to be drawing spells for the rest of the game. All right, he's just going to Sign in Blood, which is pretty good for me. Does mean that he's getting some more cards, and him playing a Gravecrawler this turn as well is pretty nice, but just the fact that he's going to do some damage to himself is pretty good. I don't want to block that because then it's going to be doing 2 to me for the rest of the game, and there's really no point. Yeah. If I draw any more lands, I'm probably just going to lose this game. Just because I need to be drawing spells when my opponent's doing active things like... I mean, I said it was good for me that he played Sign in Blood, but that's kind of assuming that I can get some more offense on the board. But if I'm just attacking him for 4 in the air, that's not going to work, because he's going to find some removal spell to get rid of either one of these Krovikan Mists, and that is not going to be very happy for me. But if all he's doing is playing like Giralf's Messengers, then that should be okay, because next turn I can Frost Breath that and the Gravecrawler, and then he won't be able to even attack me. Oh, there's another Diagraph Ghoul. So, should I Frost Breath them now just because I have the mana up? I think so. I'm going to let this thing attack. But hopefully I'll draw a spell that I want to play, and this way... I mean, I have another Frost Breath to burn, and though I didn't get as much value as I could have because I could have stopped the Giralf's Messenger from attacking next turn as well, I got my mana efficiency out of it. Yeah, that's pretty bad, drawing that land there. So, yeah, I guess I should have just taken the 3. That would have been better for me. Because now, again, I don't want to use his Frostbite, then I lose, like, so much value out of it. But I really hope he doesn't have a Cruel Revival here. Alright, that is, that's pretty bad as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to Frost Breath this thing, and then I'm just going to Claustrophobia his Messenger on his turn. And then he can hit me for 7. There's a Gossamer Phantasm. It's pretty good. And I'm going to toss that thing on there. And now I'm actually in pretty good shape to win this game. because he's going to be able to hit me for 7 damage next turn, but I'm still nowhere near dead. If he's got something like Tendrils, then that's bad, unless he targets the wrong thing. If he doesn't target my Krovikan Mist, if he targets one of the Phantasms, then I'm okay. But if he kills just one of my creatures, any one, then I can still kill him. If he kills this one and this one, then I can't kill him, because I'll only have, unless I top deck an illusion, which shouldn't be that hard. But it looks like he doesn't have anything, because he also just quit out. So we're just going to take this damage. I mean, he should have at least attacked, I think. But I guess if he doesn't have anything, then it doesn't matter. So we're just going to charge in with all our guys. And even though we drew all those lands and useless spells, I mean, the Frost Breath and the Claustrophobia did end up helping, because otherwise we surely would have lost if I had taken more damage early on. But yeah, alright, so we got 2 more wins. So now we're up to 4 with Mind Maze. And I'll try for game number 5 right now, and then if there are any more after that, we'll save it for tomorrow. But yeah, that's been pretty good so far, running very smoothly. This game was sort of close, but I mean, it wasn't a particularly powerful draw on my part, and I still pretty much dominated him. And while he didn't have a ridiculous draw, I mean, he did go turn 2 Butcher Ghoul into turn 3 Gravecrawler into turn 4 Messenger, and then he had like a bunch of zombies and drew an Undead War Chief. So, I mean, his draw wasn't terrible either. He didn't have any removal though, and that was pretty much the key. So my tempo spells were able to take over while my creatures were able to finish him off. So, yeah, that definitely worked out well, even though my draws weren't perfect. But that's why I'm running those kind of cards like Frost Breath and Claustrophobia, just in case those situations come up where I really need the tempo plays, like I did that game. And I mean, I think those are what really gives the advantage to Mind Maze in this matchup of Deadwalkers versus Mind Maze, is just those Frost Breaths and Unsummons and stuff like that. Unsummon especially, because if you unsummon a War Chief when they're attacking with 3 zombies, then you just took like 9 power off the table, which is ridiculous. But all right, could use an opponent. I wouldn't mind. I really wouldn't mind. It was pretty funny. In the comment section of the last video, everybody was saying how they think Avacyn's Glory is going to win 20 games or something like that. But I don't think that it'll do that well. It is a good deck, and it'll probably be powerful. I hate when I can see what deck they're playing, but at least he's doing random, so I can't actually see it. But yeah, anyway, this hand's a keeper. It's not great, and luckily, I think I got to play all 3 games today, which is super important for this deck. You don't want to start from behind. It's way better when you can play a 1-drop on turn 1 and into a Lord of the Unreal, but I'm pretty happy with my Gossamer Phantasm into Phantom Warrior into Chronozoa. Chronozoa is not that good, but it does present them with a threat that they really have to deal with. So my opponent led off with an island, which basically tells me that he's... You too! Which basically tells me that he's playing this deck. Now I drew an Illusionary Servant. Since I've actually been running into more Masks of the Demir, and I think that deck is way better than I gave it credit for, but I've already spoken about that enough, so let's focus on Mind Maze. He is playing Masks of the Demir, and he's going to drop a Surveilling Sprite, which is pretty annoying, because now I don't want to swing with my Gossamer Phantasm into it. There's really no point in me doing it. It just gives him a card sooner, and eventually I may draw a way to get that thing through, either it being a Frost Breath or an Unsummon, which I probably wouldn't cast, but more likely a Lord of the Unreal, and that would be the best case scenario. So I really want to find myself a Lord, since he's got a whole bunch of removal spells. So he's going to play a Slight Street Ruffian. I don't really care, since I do have this Gossamer Phantasm in hand that's kind of useless, so I may just be able to kill that thing for free. But we're going to charge in there with this Illusionary Servant, and I'm just going to play mana efficiently just in case... Oh, he's just going to throw his Surveilling Sprite in front. That is really good for me. I know that he does get some value out of it because he gets to draw the card, so, and he gains 3 life, so that was like a fine play for him. but the fact that it enables my Gossamer Phantasm to start attacking is really sweet for me. So this Chronozoa has Vanishing. In case you don't know what it does, we can take a look at it. Permanent with Vanishing enters the battlefield with a number of time counters on it. At the beginning of its controller's upkeep, if it has a time counter on it, a time counter is removed from it. When the last time counter is removed from it, it's sacrificed. So basically, 3 turns after I cast this thing, it'll die, and then its ability says, when Chronozoa dies, if it had no time counters on it, put 2 time counters on it that are copies of it. So this is what I expected to happen, and that's why I didn't want to cast it, because I think it could get more value since my other illusions die pretty easily. Ooh, it's a nice rip. Okay, so he's just going to kill one of my creatures in response. I don't think he's going to. I think what he's going to do is let this thing resolve and then last gasp it. Okay, no, he's not going to do that. He's just going to... That pretty much tells me that he's got some more removal in hand, because otherwise that play is extremely suspect. And, I mean, he did have 2 removal spells, which was really good for him. He's drawn 2 out of 4 of them. And I don't know if there's any other removal in the deck besides these last gasps. But me having this Lord of the Unreal out here is way more important than a random flyer. Alright, so he's got a Lobotomy here, which is fine. He can get rid of the rest of my Illusionary Servants. But he's gotta come up with something big here. I guess he could play like a large flyer. That'd be fine. And if I don't draw an Unsummoner or Claustrophobia, then I can be in bad shape. But I really hope he attacks me here. So yeah, he took out the Illusionary Servants. He only got 1 of them out of the deck, so that's not such a big deal. I'm so happy that he's attacking, because there's no way in this universe that I would block, and now I get to charge in and hit him back for 8 with the support of an unblockable creature in the future. So I'm not going to play that land out because of a couple of reasons. I mean, you guys know the general reasons why you don't play lands, but he doesn't know what card I just drew, and it could be anything. It could be an unsummon, and I want to make him think that I have a trick so that he might play a little bit more cautiously or a little bit differently than is optimal, because he's worried about what I've got in hand. And there's... Alright, so as I had suggested, he does have a flyer. Well, if he attacks with that, then he's just dead to my counterattack, because I can attack with everything. He's got a block. Well, I have a Claustrophobia, so it doesn't matter. But even so, if he has to block a 3-power guy to even survive, and then he just dies at his upkeep. So that was just a really poor play on his part by attacking for those last 2 turns with this Slate Street Ruffian. And if he did stand a chance this game, it was completely nullified by the fact that on turn 4 he played a spell that tapped out that didn't affect the board, and that's pretty much it. Like, if he had played a Moroi, then he would have taken a lot less damage, and I might have still won because I had some good cards in my hand, but that wasn't even a game just because of the situation. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.